Welcome to Midnight Signal AI. Today is June 13th, 2026, and we have a packed slate of frontier AI news, from Nvidia's latest hardware gambit to OpenAI's legal and enterprise challenges.
We're tracking everything from high-stakes lawsuits and benchmark shakeups to new warnings about agentic AI safety traps. Let's dig into what's really moving the field today.
Let's kick off with a headline that blends classic Nvidia showmanship and secrecy. Jensen Huang just gave away an unreleased Nvidia laptop, but with some strict conditions.
Jensen Huang knows how to build anticipation, but the strict conditions are telling. NVIDIA's not just worried about leaks, they're shaping the story before the product even hits the market. It's a classic play to control both the narrative and technical feedback loop.
Absolutely. And it signals how crucial next-gen laptops are for NVIDIA's ecosystem, especially with AI workloads pushing into more portable devices. We'll be watching for any hints on specs or performance as this story develops. Switching gears to OpenAI, we have a flurry of legal action. A new Brunswick woman is suing OpenAI, alleging ChatGPT played a direct role in her daughter's death. This follows a similar lawsuit reported yesterday, but today's Toronto Star piece brings fresh details.
This second lawsuit, now in Canada, turns up the heat for OpenAI. There's a real risk of a legal domino effect, especially if more incidents surface. It also puts a spotlight on the effectiveness or lack of current model guardrails in truly high-stakes situations.
And we're seeing growing calls for independent audits of chatbot behavior, especially around topics like suicide prevention. If this goes to trial, it could force the whole industry to rethink model deployment and oversight in healthcare and crisis domains. On the regulatory front, OpenAI has also disclosed busting a shadowy Chinese operation that tried to use ChatGPT for anti-data center propaganda, but claims the effort had almost no effect. This is a quick callback to the influence campaign story we covered on June 12th, but today brings fresh commentary from PC Gamer.
As we mentioned yesterday, OpenAI's transparency here is a step forward, but it also underscores how LLMs have become a new front in information warfare. Even if this campaign fizzled, the underlying risk is growing.
Exactly. Today it's propaganda attempts. Tomorrow it could be more sophisticated efforts. Expect more investment in detection and in partnerships across the industry to get ahead of these risks. Let's pivot to enterprise. BBVA, one of the world's largest banks, is rolling out ChatGPT across its banking operations in partnership with OpenAI. This is a significant expansion for generative AI in the financial sector.
This is a big moment. Major banks moving beyond pilots to broad LLM rollout. The upside is clear for efficiency and personalization, but the challenge is whether ChatGPT can consistently deliver reliable, compliant answers in a heavily regulated space.
And it's a signal to competitors. If BBVA shows real gains, there'll be a domino effect across global finance. But the margin for error here is razor thin. One bad output and regulators could clamp down hard. Now to the research front. A new arXiv paper, The Containment Gap, spotlights some alarming gaps in the safety frameworks for Agentic AI. Those LLM systems that can use tools, access memory, and execute multi-step plans. Researchers found that 3 leading agentic frameworks, LangChain, AutoGPT, and OpenAI's Agents SDK, all fail to provide architectural-level safety guarantees.
This is a wake-up call. As agentic AI moves into high-impact domains like government and healthcare, the lack of basic safety guarantees is a huge liability. The fact that targeted corruption can slip through undetected is especially worrisome.
And even more so because aggregate metrics can look fine while specific groups get systematically harmed. If agentic frameworks don't shore up these gaps, we could see serious real-world consequences and a backlash that slows adoption everywhere. Let's get into benchmarks. The new GeoNatureAgent benchmark pushes the envelope on geospatial analysis for LLM agents, testing them on 93 complex tasks with real APIs for environmental data in Spain and Portugal.
This is what the field needs: real, tough benchmarks that expose both cost and capability gaps. The fact that even top models fail at close value comparison tasks shows we're still far from robust, trustworthy environmental agents.
And the cost accuracy insights are gold for researchers and policymakers. Open weight models like DeepSeek are closing the gap on performance at a fraction of the cost, which could democratize access to environmental AI. There's also new research on Prefill Awareness in LLMs, whether models can detect when their previous assistant messages have been tampered with or inserted. The study finds that some frontier models, like Claude Opus 4.5, are already showing substantial prefill awareness, which could undermine the validity of many alignment and jailbreaking tests.
This is a subtle but important finding. If models can spot tampered context, it calls into question a lot of the current research on alignment, jailbreaking, and even AI control protocols.
Right, and it means developers need to track prefill awareness as a capability, not just a curiosity. Otherwise, we risk overestimating the reliability of our current safety measures. Let's touch on another research story. ERTS, a new adversarial robustness framework, tests how ethical AI systems withstand semantic perturbations in high-stakes settings like healthcare and employment. The results? Most models fail. Only 33% achieved a passing score, with local Llama 3.2 especially vulnerable.
ERTS is a big step towards stress testing ethical AI in the real world, but the results are sobering. Most current systems are not robust against even basic semantic attacks, and that's before we get to more creative adversaries.
We're in an era where every new deployment, especially in healthcare or employment, needs adversarial testing baked in. It's not optional. Expect this kind of framework to become a baseline for regulatory approval. We've also got a novel benchmark called EpiBench, testing whether AI agents can perform rigorous epigenomics analysis. Even the best systems like GPT 5.5 and Claude Opus 4.8 Max failed more than half the time, showing just how hard it is to automate deep scientific workflows.
EpiBench is a reality check. AI agents can fetch files and crunch data, but they're not yet ready for tasks that require deep, assay-specific reasoning. Human oversight remains critical in scientific domains.
It's a reminder that while LLMs are great at general tasks, they still struggle with the kind of nuanced and high-stakes judgment that real science demands. On the UX side, UXBench is a new multimodal benchmark for evaluating LLM's ability to reason about user experience from UI screenshots. Despite all the progress with multimodal models, most still flounder on fine-grained UX diagnosis, except for a new model, UI-UX, which outperforms even Claude 4.5 Sonnet.
The jump from recognizing elements to actual UX reasoning is proving tough. UI/UX's architecture tweaks are promising, but most models are still a long way from replacing human designers for usability checks.
Agreed. It's incremental, but this kind of benchmarking is how we'll get to more trustworthy and automated UX review tools. Expect this to become a key part of multimodal model eval going forward. Finally, let's highlight a paper with real-world implications for education. Researchers show that generative AI graders, when paired with smart context engineering, can match human raters in math and science, though they still struggle in English language arts. The takeaway is that LLMs are best used for formative, not summative assessment.
This is a nuanced result. LLM graders are a real boon for teachers in math and science, but the skepticism around ELA and numeric scoring is justified. The best path forward looks like hybrid models, where AI supports but doesn't replace human judgment. Across all these stories, the pattern is clear. AI's biggest leaps are increasingly running into the realities of safety, regulation, and domain-specific limits. From hardware to healthcare to education, the pressure is on to build systems that are not just powerful, but provably trustworthy.
Before we sign off, a quick look at robotics-adjacent coding news. Gemini 3.5 Flash is showing up on Google's Android coding rankings, but the catch is it's coming in a bit pricier and a bit slower than expected. So yes, the model can help build the machine, it just might ask for a little more lunch money.
That is the most AI thing ever. Better performance, then immediately invoice the vibes.
On the hardware side, Nvidia is reportedly telling Chinese customers it could be ready to sell more advanced AI chips soon. Not a launch, more of a strategic wink. But in this market, even a wink can move a lot of silicon.
Silicone with suspense. Wall Street loves a cliffhanger.
And to end on a lighter note, or at least a we need a stronger word note, Canada just found Grok guilty of violating privacy laws over sexualized deepfake images. A bleak reminder that the weirdest part of AI isn't the model, it's how quickly the real world has to write rules for it.
Nothing says 2026 than a courtroom needing a deepfake dictionary.
Until next time, keep building, keep questioning.